The Bengals address the safety position with Vonn Bell and Jessie Bates leaving. Let's react to Nick Scott and discuss what he brings to Lou Anarumo's defense. Hi again, everyone, and welcome in to Cincinnati Bengals Talk. I'm James Rapien of allbengals.com. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, and by the time you see this, it'll be about 24 hours since the Bengals agreed to terms with Nick Scott. He hasn't officially put pen to paper, but the former Rams safety coming to Cincinnati and will replace Vonn Bell and join Dax Hill as the starters in the back end of Lou Anarumo's defense. And I really like this signing. And I understand it. You haven't heard of Nick Scott. That the average fan, and I get it. It's not like I was a Nick Scott expert 3 weeks ago. But the more I learn about him, the more I like about this signing. And let's just start here. The Bengals are going to have to cut spending at certain positions, especially with T. Higgins and Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow, all these guys coming up, Orlando Brown's contract, for example. And so getting cheaper at safety makes sense. Not having a $16 million safety like Jessie Bates makes sense. Finding a guy that might be able to give you everything Vonn Bell gave you makes sense. And I'm not sure if Nick Scott can do that, but I think there are a lot of signs that he is capable of doing that. And with the help of defensive backs coach Robert Livingston, with the help of Lou Anarumo, there's no reason to believe that Nick Scott can't come in and be exactly what the Bengals need him to be on the back end of this Bengals defense. And so let's start there. He started 16 games for the Rams last season, is a former 7th-round pick that sort of worked his way up, paid his dues, and was able to start and showed what he could do. And he's more versatile, I would say, than his teammate, which they brought in Taylor Rapp as well for a visit on Friday, but more versatile. And whether it's Mike Santagata, who we've had him on here, Joe Goodberry, guys like that, they look at it and they say, all right, well, Nick Scott makes a lot of sense. And Taylor Rapp's still out there. They could have made a run at him. But the thing I like about Scott is he's athletic. And I looked up his relative athletic score when he was coming out of the draft in 2019 out of Penn State. And let's just take a look here. Daxton Hill, Nick Scott. They are athletic in the 90th percentile of relative athletic score at RAS and, at MathBomb on Twitter. I'm sure you guys have seen it. If not, that's fine. But this just basically looks at a prospect and where they rank among their peers from 1987 to now. And Nick Scott is up there, man. I mean, he's got a 41-inch vertical, runs very, very fast. He ran even faster at his pro day. I saw that he ran a 4.43 at his pro day, but 4.45. You throw that in with Daxton Hill, and both guys are versatile enough to move around. It's not like you have one guy who's the back end guy and one guy who's the box safety. I think both guys complement each other well. I like this signing a lot. And look, I'm not expecting Hill and Scott to be Bates and Bell. But if you look at their athleticism, they're better. They're faster. They're more athletic. They certainly, in that elite safety athleticism range versus you look at Jessie Bates, average, not something that would take away from you drafting him and prevent you from drafting him. And obviously he was a home run pick by the Bengals in round 2 in 2018, but you get the point. Vonn Bell certainly has developed into a really, really good player and has made a lot of money in this league. And we've seen him make plays, but he's not the best athlete in the world. And so I think that adding Scott, a guy who played a ton for the Rams last year, like I said, he's exactly what the Bengals needed. A lower cost option that isn't going to prevent them from keeping any of their core guys. And they save a little bit of money going from Bell to Scott. And I'm not sure how much of a drop off there's going to be. Now, will there be some growing pains and some communication and some things that they need to add? Absolutely. And they need to work through. But he had 86 tackles last year. He had 2 forced fumbles, 5 passes defense, 2 interceptions. It's not like he wasn't productive. And so seeing that and getting Dax Hill reps, because I think Hill's going to be a very good player, I really like the signing for the Bengals. And I don't think that they're in trouble by any means at the safety position. I think they'll be just fine, especially because you kept Jermaine Pratt. And so you think about it, your front 7 is intact. And I know there's some questions about corner, With the back end, you got more athletic there. You're younger. There's going to be some communication stuff I think that they work through early on. But I think overall, they're going to be fine for now and have the ability to grow together and be a formidable duo, if not a really good to great duo in this league. And I don't want to leave Tycen Anderson out, because Tycen Anderson is another elite athlete and just ran a blazing 40 last year, tested in the 94th percentile relative athletic score, the math bomb, the same stuff I just showed you with Dax Hill and Nick Scott and obviously Bell and Bates. So if those are your three safeties, I think you feel pretty good about that, especially because you have a veteran in Michael Thomas in that room as well. So is it different? Yes. Is it unfamiliar because his name is Nick Scott and you've seen Vonn Bell and you heard of him because he went to Ohio State? All that. Are you missing some leadership? No doubt. But we knew Bates was leaving. We knew Hill was going to replace him. And now you get a guy in Nick Scott who you might not have heard of, but has a Super Bowl ring and is certainly a guy that I think is going to be a big part of Lou Anarumo's defense. And I'll say this, the fact that they met with Taylor Rapp, they met with Nick Scott, and they went with Scott, I think that has as much to do with Lou Anarumo. And that's the benefit of Anarumo staying, the continuity, having him navigate these waters and pick guys that are going to fit his system. I think this is a really great signing, great value signing for the Bengals. And I would not be shocked if the safety position exceeds your expectations in 2023. For more, make sure you check out allbengals.com. Hit that subscribe button, ring the bell. We have a ton of videos on Orlando Brown, Frank Pollock, and my reaction, plus thoughts on the Jonah Williams trade, demand, whatever you want to call it, request, whatever. Either way, I gave my thoughts on that as well. We'll see. Hopefully we are talking about a Foster Moreau signing in the near future. He was in New Orleans on Saturday. Maybe he signs with one of these teams by the time you see this video, but visited the Bengals on Friday. So former Raiders tight end, really athletic. We'll see if the Bengals can get something done with him. I'd be pretty excited if they were able to get him locked up, because he, to me, much like Nick Scott, would be a great value signing at this stage. And I think he would be. I don't know if Nick Scott's going to be better than Vonn Bell. And there's a lot of reasons to believe he might not be, but he's different. He's a different player. I think Foster Moreau would end up being better than Hayden Hurst. For more, like I said, hit that subscribe button. And for Andrew Fox Miller, our channel coordinator, I'm James Rapien, signing off for now on CBT, Cincinnati Bengals Talk.